21st, 2026. Madam Recording Secretary, the roll, please.
Paul Hay.
Here.
Eric Diana. Lisa Germani Williams.
Here.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Here.
Missy Plez.
Here.
Tony LaPuma.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here.
Chairman Gio Benelli.
Present.
Jessica Klosser.
Here.
Bob DiTomaso.
Here.
Don Sinkowitz.
Here.
Christy Trevorrow.
Here.
There is a quorum.
Fantastic. Well, good evening, and thanks for everybody coming out on this lovely, warm summer evening. I was looking, so we have just quick aside, I was looking at the weather in Naples, this 80, actually 79, 80, 80, 80, all the way through Sunday. I'm like, dude, come on. So anyway, we choose to live here, and that's fine. We love our community, so here we are, right? First item on the agenda, approval of the meeting minutes from November 12th, 2025. Is there any questions regarding the minutes, or is there a motion in our future?
And make a motion.
Motion by the chair, vice chairman, a second in support, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Audience comments? Really?
None?
All right, we'll move on. She's got the cookie under control out there.
There are cookies in the
There are
back if anyone
cookies in the back.
wants
So
any.
we
I
see us
think we
eating
found them, thank you.
You see us eating cookies, it's, it's one of those nights for us. The first thing with respect to the liaison reports, I want to do really quickly is welcome Mayor Debbie Jones. Thank you. You're our newest member. And also Jessica Klauser. Congrats again on your guys' election. And we're super excited and glad that you're, made some time to spend with us. And we're looking forward to doing some really awesome stuff together. So thanks.
Thank you.
Yep. And with that, Ms. Klauser, I will TO it to you for the City Council liaison report.
Okay, so this is my first time doing this.
No worries.
So I put together a list of things I thought might be of interest, but feel free to ask some questions.
At least you prepared. Nobody usually prepares. It's just they always switch.
You've already
I'm ahead of
won.
Maryland, right?
It wasn't a shot at Marilyn. Everybody before her did the same thing.
So following the elections, City Council approved several boards and commission updates. I'm now serving on as the City Council liaison for DDA. Dave Berlichich has taken my former seat on the Planning Commission. And then Planning Commission Chair David Gasson has announced his resignation. So council will be appointing a replacement for him. And then the other one I thought was of interest might be council member Sarah King was appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals, which we haven't had a city council member on there for some time, if ever. So that'll be the first time we have a city council liaison. Downtown e-bikes. So council was introduced or a proposed ordinance addressing bikes and e-bikes on downtown sidewalks. It looked like from your agenda, you've talked about this before. I don't think I have anything new other than it was tabled last meeting because of all the other topics that we had. And so we'll be talking about it again at the next meeting if anyone's interested. Planning Commission aside, there's been several downtown and near downtown projects that are actively moving forward. There's the renovation on South Main to the old cleaners. That's happening. A proposed mixed-use project on Romeo, where the old lamp shop used to be. And then the Market and the Graham has been coming up on 2nd Street. Other commercial updates along Main here and there. So a steady just reinvestment in some of the stuff downtown. So I thought that might be of interest. Parks and our community amenities. So the Ludlow Playground was approved to move forward with renovating that. So all the equipment's being redone, new equipment, and then a lot of the sidewalks around the playground are also being redone. So it's all, it'll be an all abilities a park and
Sweet.
ADA compliant. So that's why the sidewalks are getting redone. And then the Kiwanis Playground, which is the one over here by the city, but closest to the police department, that's being redesigned. That did not pass at council. We're having a smaller group meet and come up with maybe a more modern design elements. So we're still working on that playground, but it will get updated, and those are all hopefully going to be kicking off this spring, summer. I also serve on the Sister Cities Commission, which is actively working on the Memorial Day Parade. So this might be a good opportunity to help with coordination if there's ever anything with Rochester Hills and the DDA. I'm happy to be that connection. We had at the city council meeting an update from Bob Bloomingdale, and maybe you can give an update on the admin building. There's some cool things happening there, projects underway. So I thought that might be of interest too. But other than that, that is what I had. I don't know if I have questions or if I missed
Well, you
anything.
did awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
But I don't know, Bob, if you want to give an update on the admin building, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I can certainly do that. We are engaged with the RCS Board, Rochester Community Schools, discussing the potential for repurposing the admin building as a community center. We're making really good progress. We have 3 really interesting nonprofits already signed up, should it go forward. New Day is one, who's a local nonprofit, sizable. A Courageous Voice is another one, which is interesting to me. They focus on educating young people and adults on the dangers of the internet and social media and whatnot, and also Gifts for All of God's Children, which is currently operating out of the First Congregational Church. Congregational. I always get it wrong. Anyhow, so they're looking at, they really like the shipping and receiving area, which would be a hard area for us to rent otherwise. So we have a lot of momentum. We got a really good team. We're going to make a full presentation to the RCS board February 23rd, and our goal from that would be then to enter into serious negotiation with them for an exchange of the building. So, and I think I've said it before, they have asked us whether our intent is to pay for the building or have them give it to us, and we said yes to both. So,
and just to be clear, when Bob's referring to we, it's not the DDA.
Right.
This is a separate organization. that
Yes,
Bob's
yes,
involved with.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, well, 'cause I
Yeah.
can just see all of a sudden emails incoming, right? Hey, I didn't know, what are you guys doing? DDA is doing that?
We is kind of unofficially called the Harrison Center, so that would be the name for the project if it goes forward,
That's
the Harrison
fantastic.
Center.
Well, thanks for stepping up and doing that, because the community sure appreciates it, given the,
Yeah.
the historic nature of that building. If we can save it, let's save it, right?
Labor of love.
100%.
What's the date of that next meeting?
I'm sorry?
In February, when are you?
February 23rd is their regular meeting, so we get 30 minutes to convince them of something.
That's good. Better than just sitting there, so
Yeah,
let's see
100%.
if we can get that happening. So that's great, fantastic, thank you so much. Any additional questions for our city council liaison? All right, marching forward, Mr. DiTomaso, so very quickly, Bob sold his business in town and has just moved sort of like right over the border, like barely over the border. So as such, his seat on the DDA was originally a merchant, / property owner in the district. As soon as the threshold was crossed, the Rubicon was crossed, all of a sudden the eligibility is gone. So, but by the grace of God, so by that, Bob's seat, the under the charter, the ability for him to have a seat is gone. But by the grace of God, he's also our chamber liaison, so he gets to stay. He just goes from here to there. So it actually worked out fantastic. So, so we're still able to benefit from Bob's keen insight. And with that, I just want to thank you for your service to the DDA over the course of time. It's been great. I've obviously known Bob and Julie for a jillion years. We were two doors down neighbors forever and ever. But that said, you put a ton of time, energy, effort, and life force into the community. And I just wanted to thank you for your service to the
Thank
DDA.
you. All right, so an update?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the 2026 Community Outlet Breakfast and Economic Insight will be on Friday, February 27th at the Oakland University Student Center. Maggie will be sending out electronic formal invitations probably by the end of this week. So that's an event that draws up to 350 people. It's Rochester, Rochester Hills, and I think Oakland Township will have some representation there as well. So it's pretty informational. So it's a good meeting. The Chamber wants to congratulate Christy and the team on another fabulous holiday season. Thank you. Return of the Fire and Ice Festival. So we're also lucky to we're lucky to live and work in a wonderful community like this where, we have the types of events. So the Chamber's, very pleased with that. And then Maggie says to keep an eye out. The Chamber is getting ready to implement some really neat and exciting new programs for members and local business owners. So more to come on that as things develop.
You guys always have something up your sleeve, so we
Oh, yeah.
will bolo, as the kids say. So
Nothing up my sleeves, not tonight.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that report. Any questions for our chamber liaison? Seeing none. Historical Commission, Mr. Sinkowitz, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you.
Welcome, Jessica. I'll start off with the historical.
Turn your microphone to the, don't want to get yelled at.
The historical plaque, there was one delivered in November, and in the next couple of meetings, I'll put together the total number. I have to separate fiscal year versus calendar year, because we have both. We also have the same situation with the railroad books, where we have one group counting out the fiscal year, then we have another group counting the calendar year. So I'll put together that. The next big event is, of course, Founder's Day, which is going to be held on March 22nd at the Calf Barn at the Rochester Hills Museum. The speakers will be the bagpipe musician will be there. That was there last year, along with the Irish dancers. So they'll be returning. And Carol Egbo will be back as well. This year she'll be presenting a presentation on the Revolutionary War soldiers that are buried at Mount Avon. There's 3 of them that have been confirmed. So there'll be that activity. And also they're planning on videotaping it so that we'll have an historical record of the event if anybody wants to watch it, excuse me. Along with Founder's Day, which again is on March 22nd, we'll be delivering the coloring books that we distribute to the Rochester Community Schools and some of the other schools in the area. We'll be distributing approximately 1,300 books. We'll also add a few to the neighborhood house and the clothes closet, along with we'll make coloring books available at the Founder's Day for any of the children that want to participate. So that's good. That takes into account 16 schools, and there's 3 outside of that aren't schools that we also provide the coloring books to. Heritage Days is moving along. We're gaining a lot of momentum there. With Christy's help, it's a huge help. She's added that the Grangers will be there. Hopefully I'm not taking away your...
Nope, you're good.
And I'll be putting together some of the entertainers. Some of the entertainers have already contacted me, anxious to get back into the swing of things, so we'll be putting together that. That'll be held at the end of May 30th and 31st, so it's the week after Memorial Day this year. The 25th anniversary, the DAR 25th anniversary project, excuse me, that was a very nice ceremony that happened on Sunday. I won't mention the joke.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It was helpful to me because I was a little nervous. So I was glad she made the mistake and not me.
But that was a very nice, very informative, and very educational presentation. So that went well. And we're looking forward to more events throughout the year commemorating the anniversary of the United States. Thank you, everyone.
That's fantastic. Well, then, as usual, you guys got a ton going on, so we appreciate your efforts in that regard. Any questions for our historical liaison?
What's the timing of Founder's Day at the bottom?
It'll be from 1 to 4.
Okay.
There will be, it should be going out this week, an invitation on, slips my mind, what's where you register?
Social media.
Eventbrite?
Pardon?
Eventbrite? Jot form. I don't know what you guys use.
It's like Eventbrite, probably, right?
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Eventbrite.
Sorry.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there
Sorry
with
for
the same
that
thing.
senior moment, I guess.
It's all right, it happens, man, trust me. All right, fantastic, thank you for that update, we appreciate it. Principal Shopping District, Mr. Haig.
Yes, I'm going to defer that to Christie.
Christy, can you help Mr. Haig out, please?
I would be delighted to. Yeah, he had surgery,
Clearly.
like a day before. He's like, I think I'm still going to make it to the meeting. I'm like, dude, no, you're not. Please don't. So we're happy that he spent the whole morning with us at the accreditation, even with his shoulder. So PSD, their goals and objectives meeting was the one that they had this month. A couple highlights. Movies in the Moonlight, it looks like they're going to be recommending putting that event on pause, mainly because there's been, Movies in the Moonlight is over 25 years old, and when we created Movies in the Moonlight, there wasn't streaming. There weren't a lot of other things, and really, if you wanted to watch a movie, you didn't have a lot of options, so it was a more attractive option. Not so much anymore. We've clocked the last couple years of the attendance. I wouldn't say it's slid, but it's definitely been getting a little bit lighter. So we're going to take a minute, and there may be opportunities that we can insert a movie element into other existing events, but we're going to, we're working on budget for the February meeting, but I think we're going to recommend taking it out for now and then see where we go from there. But some of the monies from Movies in the Moonlight are going to be going over to another event that we've had a lot of requests for Dancing in the Street to be expanded to a second evening to tie in with sidewalk sales, because it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Usually, we did Dancing on Friday and a movie on Saturday, so we're just going to flip the script and do a band on Saturday night as well. The restaurants were very excited about this. Last year, they talked to us about it, because with the Taste Fest out there, for them to set up for one night, might as well go for two. And then some of the restaurants have already said they'd want to be open during the day, because there's a lot of people around that might just want a quick, lunch stop over there rather than sitting down in a restaurant. So that'll also be coming forward. And then the only thing we have is the Halloween Fest, which is continuing. But last year, because of construction and things at the Graham, we had moved it over to the upper deck of the parking deck behind the East 400 block. We really liked it there. The police liked it there. They felt like it was a lot safer up there. So we will be requesting, I believe, to City Council to allow us to continue the Halloween Fest for that one afternoon up there. Farmers Market is here on DDA's docket, but that is moving back to the market lot. So that we will be only making this one request for using the deck. That's what I know as of right now, but we have got budget with them in another month, so we'll see if anything changed.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so that's all, we'll get to it, but we're having the same process tonight, and what we discussed tonight later for goals and objectives will be coming out in greater detail in February for our February meeting. Okay, very good. Any questions from the director on PSD stuff? No? All right, marching forward. All right, so the first item on your agenda for general business is the new Oakland County Board of Commissioners DDA policy. Christie, I'm going to tee that up. I'm going to preface it really quick and give sort of a quick refresher as to the basis for why this is an important item, and Christie will get into it in much greater detail. But as you guys know, the DDAs in general, and ours is no different, our funding mechanism is through what's called tax increment financing. And what a TIF is a line in the sand is drawn in property values. In our case, it was in 1983, and then a chunk in 1999, or 94.
Four?
I don't know, early 90s.
90s.
But it was a much smaller piece. But so what happens is a zone is created. Taxes from that point forward are captured and then reinvested within the district, but the portion that's not subject to capture, which was the value of the properties as of 83 and then in 94, goes to the general fund for the city. So on average, I think it's about 80%, something like that, 85% of the taxes captured, or the taxes paid in Rochester go back to the DDA and are reinvested in the district, and it's been that way forever. Or not since forever, but since 1983.
83.
Right? So again, there's always this misnomer about double taxes and all this. When you pay taxes, you're paying the same taxes whether the DDA exists or not. It's just the function that a chunk of that is being captured and then reinvested within the district. And we actually had, earlier today, we had our Main Street Oakland County assessment, and we had a guy come in and we kind of talking through that policy. And the mayor reminded me of the great old days when there was like nothing going on in downtown and just a bunch of shuttered buildings and that sort of thing. And so over time, we've obviously flipped the script, and now we're on near 100% occupancy. So that's why cities are more, it's not unique to Rochester. There's many, many communities that use this tax increment financing. So with that said, Oakland County has come up with a policy that they kind of got through rather quickly without a lot of debate. And
Sprung it on us.
Yeah, right. Basically sprung it on us right before Christmas and approved it without any sort of outside influence. Now, for our TIF, the way the TIF works is it has to have a definitive expiration date. In our case, our definitive expiration date is December 31st, 2030. So as this policy is, it really doesn't apply to us until 2030 because we're not up yet. But if it were up for renewal now, this could potentially be an issue for us. So wanted to kind of update the board as to what the county's thinking is, and then maybe talk through some ways to try and change some of it, because some of it doesn't make any sense, and we'll look at that in a second.
Yes.
But that said, that's kind of the setting of what Christie's about to talk about. So With that, Madam Director, I teed you up, so.
I appreciate that. I apologize for the 54 pages of stuff that I sent everybody, but this happened actually, it wouldn't have even been if we did meet in December. It happened right after that. All the Main Street managers had gotten a call that they were going to be recognizing Main Street for the 25th anniversary of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. So we were all planning on going anyway. And then about 36 hours before that, we all of a sudden get this important, all exclamation points email from Main Street Oakland County saying, this is on the docket. And we're opening it and we're looking at it like, what in the world is this? Well, essentially, as Ben said, a lot of it didn't make sense. They were saying, well, you can't capture zoo millage. We've never captured zoo millage. That isn't a thing. Don't know why that would be there. But essentially where it's coming from is that they are trying to pull back money into the county. Because as Ben said, the cities, because we have the TIF, comes into the DDA. The other taxing jurisdictions also forego theirs, including the county. We don't have a giant TIF compared to like a Royal Oak, but they're looking at some of those so that if and when, if we are going to be renewed in 2030, we would have to go to the county according to this agreement as it stands right now and enter into a contractual agreement that we agree to A, B, C, D, and also a cap on the amount of dollars that we can continue to capture. This ran very quickly. Brendan Johnson, who is the rep with Rochester Hills, I know him very well, and I'm up there, and he was congratulating us on the 25th, and he gives me a big hug. He's like, tell me what I'm supposed to say to them about this thing. I'm trying to stop it. I'm like, I don't know. I just got it. And it was really awkward, but fine. So, but enough people have apparently raised the alarms of saying, it makes no sense. There's some things you're telling us to do that we can't do. Like, for instance, something was about prevailing wage. We have nothing to do with that. There's no influence we have over that. So there's a lot of things that they're expecting us to do that is not in our purview. So my understanding is from what John Bry had said to us this morning at the accreditation is that enough people have raised their hands and said, please stop, that there's a group that's getting together to review it and get it to a place where it makes sense. I don't think they're going to back off the contract piece, but other pieces will make more sense. So just, I wanted to make everybody aware, again, as Ben said, it doesn't immediately affect us, but usually things like this, that's not the process. They'll come, they'll have a study committee, we would be invited, all these things, and that did not happen, so.
Actually, none of it happened, so.
None of it happened.
We were just sort of jammed on it. And this is not the first time this has happened. I don't know if you guys recall, but was it before COVID, or I think it was probably before COVID, but in Lansing, they were trying to go at redoing the TIF and basically killing TIFs and getting rid of tax capture. So as Christie alluded to, so in our capture, we're capturing taxes for Rochester, which obviously are invested in Rochester, and the DDA's primary function is capital investment, so roads, streets, everything that you see, the Graham. I mean, that's all stuff that we take that money and we do with it to increase the value for Rochester. But also, too, we're capturing some about $650,000, $700,000 a year from the county, and this is what they're talking about. So from our perspective, the administrative cost to run the DDA is about that same dollar amount. So they're the county wants to make that end and try and suck that money back in, which I understand, but, it's very short-sighted in many, many ways. So I think I'll open up the floor for discussion, but it feels like the action's going to be, let's let it digest a little bit, put together a response. Even though it doesn't impact Rochester, I will say, as one of the founding members of Main Street in Oakland County and as one of the top, main streets, us sending a letter explaining sort of how we feel about this would probably carry a little bit of weight. So I just want to make sure that we do it right. We're respectful because our partners at the county have been great. We don't want to, we want to be respectful of that process, but we also want it, to be fair, right? So with that, if there's any questions for anybody with respect to that, feel free to. Anyone? Bueller? Questions? You good? All right. So the action item would be no action. We'll just wait to defer. But I think we're going to review it. I do want to probably run it by our attorney for the legal parts that we're not, just to get a take on it. Again, I'm not going to be, we're not lawyering up or anything. So I just want to figure out what, what's actually in it that we can have some influence over, and then we'll continue to have discussions. But I think probably, I don't know how soon they're looking for feedback, but it feels like maybe the next meeting we have some sort of a letter that we are proposing to send to the county in response to this from the board. And then we'll review that, and if you guys are good with it, we'll let it fly.
Yep, and I'll definitely follow up with John Bry to make sure what the moves are at the county so that we're not
Yeah, again.
too ahead of the game or.
Sure,
or-
100%.
yeah.
Yep, yeah, so we'll follow your lead, but does that sound good? Okay. All right, sweet. All right, well, thank you for that. Quick kick in the shin on the way out before Christmas. That's always good.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
All right, volunteers for the Budget Subcommittee. All right, it is that time of the year, friends. So we're going to get into goals and objectives in a minute, and I'll walk through that. But an outcome, obviously, from that, the main outcome from that process is to figure out how to pay for stuff. So I need some people to help me. I'm generally, since I'm the token finance person, I'm always the default person to sort of run that committee, and I'm happy to do it again. But I do need some help. So what do you have, like 2 more people?
2 more people.
Yeah, so I'm not going to do a Mark Albrecht voluntold, so if anybody's cares to spend some time.
Nominate Tony.
Oh,
And I'll nominate Bob.
well, there we go. Oh. Anybody else have any interest?
How many hours are we looking at?
Oh, I think we had 2 or 3 meetings, probably 2 meetings. We just meet upstairs here. Process is that what we're going to talk about are goals and objectives. We'll work with the finance team and the city finance team and figure out, what money we got available to do that, layer it all in. We'll meet once, take a look at it, and then go back, kind of think about it some more. And then the last one, what's the, when do you guys have to have it in by? Okay, because we made a promise to council that we would get that stuff to you guys ASAP. So we're not going to be dragging any feet. So I guess the good news is our main focus is the grant, so this is going to be a very short capital spend list. But so anyway, that's that. So long answer to your short question is 2 meetings, generally in the morning, in by 8, out by 9 kind of stuff, so.
Okay, I'll volunteer.
Okay. All right, you guys going to duke it out? We got sumo suits? All right, well, let's do all 3.
I got it.
Okay, great. All right. We can just have the whole board come up there and we'll meet and drive Nick crazy. It'll be great. All right. All right. So thank you for your support and your help on that. It'll be great. I promise. Make the budget great again. All right. Goals and objectives. All right. So this part sort of concludes our regularly scheduled meeting for the Rochester Downtown Development Authority, but we're continuing on. So just to kind of walk you guys through the process. So now we're about to get into a thing called goals and objectives. And what goals and objectives are, and most people that have been with us for a while know, is that this is where we talk about sort of things that we want to try and do for the upcoming budget year, discuss thoughts, get feedback from constituents and folks that have told us things that they'd like to see. So this is more of just a loose discussion, fact-finding. Typically, this is done not on TV. We just kind of have a regular meeting and get together and sort of talk about it because we're not really doing any legislation, as it were. It's just sort of, but I think it would be helpful for, folks watching at home to kind of see the thought process of what we go through. So I just figured that it would be just, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time, right? So I figured it would be good just to kind of tack it on. So what we're going to get into now is sort of the goals and objectives part. There's a few key things that we want to get to, and then after that, we'll get to a miscellaneous, which is us opening the floor up, and it's literally just, start spitting ideas out, and, things that you've thought about, things that you want us to take a look at. Christy will take copious notes, and then we'll go back, kind of look at that. And then when we meet in February, we'll have some thoughts as to, what those costs are, and then you guys can decide, all right, yep, we're going to do that. No, we can't afford that, and that kind of thing. So that's the way it's going to roll. So the first 9 million pound gorilla in the room is the market in Graham. So so as an update as to that, so we're literally negotiating. We're still doing value engineering at that point, but we had really good bids come back, but it's still in excess of $3.5 million what we're looking at right now. So that's before any value engineering. So we're going through and we've got some really good news today on rigid inclusions, which if I hear that name again, I'm going to have an aneurysm. But we have really poor soil over there, and that's what's really driving the budget issue. But we got some good feedback from from our partners today. So I'm trying to put together a call tomorrow. It's literally my second job is the Graham. It feels like it's all.
Sorry about that.
All we're doing is conference calls. But that said, is that it feels like due to the scope of the project, we got to get done. The main, our true north is we have to have this thing done, open. The mayor cutting the ribbon on September 30th. Otherwise, we lose almost $1 million in funding. So that is our true north, and that's what we're going for. So in talking with the team, so the subcommittee is Bob, myself, Tony, and Christy, working with Rewald, working with Auger, working with Seal, working with everybody, the city. But it feels like the best way to accomplish that objective is to break the project into 2 deliverable elements, which I can spread over a couple of fiscal years. The lion's share of the project is going to happen this year. So the building, the bathrooms, the ADA walk. I don't know if you're familiar with the old animal hospital, but there's a change in grade, which has been the bane of our existence there. That's what's causing all these dirt issues. But we affectionately refer to that as the moat. So the moat, we've decided that everything north of the moat is going to be phase 2, which would be the next fiscal year. So we'll address that in 2027. How much of that we can do this year, I don't know yet. We'll know more. Certainly, I gave everybody Valentine's Day as the day that I love you, and you need to give me final numbers by that. So that's our goal. So when we get together after all of our discussions tonight on everything, we'll have some really good intel for you guys on that. That said, so the building, the bathrooms, the ADA ramp, so that's basically 80-90% of the project anyway.
And the dumpsters.
The dumpsters, yeah. Dumpster enclosures. So, and then we were having some discussion about running electric out to the lot. We can talk about farmers market in a little bit, but Taylor gave us some really good feedback on how market went in the D-stack and why we need electric out there. So we'll get to that point. So anyway, long story short is that everything north of the moat would be phase 2. So that would be the mill and recap of the parking lot, stuff that we were going to do in the parking lot. Again, this is just what we're thinking right now. How much we can stick into this fiscal year. We're going to try and do everything we possibly can. And there's some other things that we can probably talk about as well. But that's sort of the thought process at the moment. And we've confirmed with Oakland County that if we deliver that by September 30th, we are good to go. So that's good. So we're continuing to deal with the value engineering part. I'll tell you what, having these 2 guys has been a blessing because I don't know squat about building giant buildings, and without you 2, I'd be a lost little lamb. So thank you, I appreciate it. So we're beating them up pretty good, Bob and Tony. All I know is that if I ever going to build something, these 2 guys are going to be running the project. So. So it's good. So we're meeting again with Rewald and the team tomorrow. We got a call on changing the rigid inclusions and then some other construction stuff that we were talking about. So just trying to get the most bang for the buck. We're not building a Taj Mahal, but we want it to last and be pretty. So, and we want to deliver what was in the pictures, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So anyway, long story long, that is the Graham status. Ongoing, but the phase 1, phase 2 is kind of the way we're leaning right now, just from a money standpoint. How much of the entire project we can jam into phase 1, I don't know. I won't know for probably 2 or 3 weeks. So that's it. But we're going to have, the mayor's going to be there on September 30th, or probably September 29th, hopefully. Not the 30th, like 5 o'clock in the afternoon on the 30th. Hurry up, put the paintbrush down, right? Yeah. But yeah, so that's our plan. And everything that we're doing, we're sticking to that. So that's sort of a long preview of that. So I guess stay tuned, news at 11. And then I'll let you guys know on the call time tomorrow. It's like every 2 or 3 days we're on Zoom calls. It's like, it's okay, we're doing good things. All right, so that's that. Social district.
Ben,
Madam
did you want me
Director.
to talk about farmer's market real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, please.
That's okay. So last year, we had moved to the upper deck of the east parking platform, and, which was great. And Taylor, because it was a bigger space, was able to onboard some more vendors in anticipation of moving back to the site where we have more space. But now our situation is that we're moving back and we don't have our new space yet. We were kind of a back and forth. We had a lot of discussion about should we stay there and then move mid-season? Should we just move all the way back? So we brought Taylor to one of the planning meetings, and where we ended up is that we are going to move back, but we're going to come to council and ask for on Saturdays if we can close Water Street between 2nd and 3rd, sort of like basically where the fire department is, so that we could put additional vendors down there until the building's ready, because we don't want to lose these vendors, because we have some pretty cool new vendors, and we want to make sure that we can keep them engaged. So that's what we're looking at right now. And we also know that taking up that parking deck was not a super popular choice with some people, and so we want to make sure that, we're respecting our businesses as best we can. We really, out of all the options of all the lots we could go to, it really was the best one that we could possibly go to, but we knew no matter where we put it, somebody wasn't going to be happy. So we're going to make every effort to get it out of there and back where it goes. Yeah.
I would just say, and, for us, it's best laid plans, right? So we had assumed that when we asked council to go ahead and move it over to the east lot, it was with the understanding that we would be that thing would be almost done by now, right?
Yep.
And we ran into these dirt issues, which drove budget, just through the roof, and it was like, so we had to hit the brakes. But by that time, it was too late to move it back to the parking lot. So as Christie alluded to, there was mixed feelings about having us there, which I can completely understand. I know that some folks loved it, some folks hated it, so.
Yeah. But it was a good in-between, because it allowed us to onboard those vendors that
Sure,
we're pretty
100%.
excited about, and so we're ahead of the game when we are ready to
Yep.
open the building.
So we'll, once we get the plan more roughed in, we'll go before council and ask you guys for the closure of, well, we already own the road anyway.
We do.
So it's just, whatever. So, no, I digress. But, so just that Saturdays for the market. And then the other thing, too, is, and I had alluded to this earlier, was with respect to electricity. So one of the things that Taylor was saying is that they need access to electricity, and part of our project included installing new poles with electric in the parking lot. We're still probably going to do that. It's like, what, 50 grand, 51 grand? What I didn't want to do is to rent a bunch of generators and have to deal with that nonsense, and we'll just spend the money and do it. So that's kind of our thought process at the moment. That would require us to trench in the lot, just like a skinny thing, lay down some conduit, put a pole, and be done with it. So everybody said that it's not going to disrupt, anybody. The good news is that the lot will be available for parking as normal. It's literally going to be normal. So the only disruption, they'll probably be on like one day when they're running those. So we don't know when that's going to happen yet. Obviously, nothing's happening until the frost goes away. But so that's our thought at the moment. It's subject to change, but that's kind of where our head's at on that one. But so we are moving back this year, and then once we do, we'll have to figure this one out once the building is done and once we do the parking lot, where we're going to go, because if we're not invited to the east, we have to go to the west lot. Make friends on the other side of the lane. It'll be great.
Well, the thing about asphalt, it doesn't take as long to cure
Oh, that's true.
as concrete, so we might be able to figure it out. And even, farmer's market ends at the end of October, so we could even be a last.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
All right, very good. I'm sorry, did you guys, no, just chit-chat?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make sure that everybody gets a chance to express their opinion. So that's kind of putting the bow on the farmer's market and the Graham stuff. Is there any other questions on that? We're Gucci? Okay, next.
So in your packet is social district. This is something that Missy had asked to put on here. So I'm just going to give a little framing, and then if you want to pop in anything else.
Okay.
So for anyone who's not familiar with the social district, this was something that was created during COVID. It was a way that people could gather outside, have a nice beverage, alcoholic beverage, and they could be in a certain area. It expanded over time. That it originally was, you could designate a little gathering space, that this was kind of like a beer garden kind of thing, and this is where you would go with your drinks, and that there would have to be a restaurant with a liquor license that was adjacent to make this that area. Then it was, like in Ferndale, for instance, Crossing Woodward was kind of a thing, and so they had two different social districts. As this evolved and people really liked it, COVID was over, people were like, I don't want to let go of the social district. It's nice for our town, it's nice for our restaurants. So they found ways to make it easier. Before it was a limited time, now they have no sunset, that any city can apply for them. The way that the process works is that you would designate an area of your downtown. Some people, again, have stayed with like the little park area or a little town square area. Other people have just drawn a box around their downtown and said, social district. You have to have signage at each end of it so that people know you're entering you're exiting. And then some people went so far as putting like sidewalk decals, continuous signage everywhere. That's things we could talk about. But the way that it works for the restaurants is that they have to dispense the alcohol in an approved container. In most cases, it's provided by the city or the DDA, and it has the logo of the social district on it, and then it has to have, which is usually done with a sticker from, for instance, Rochester Mills Beer Company, that they would put on it, and then that is what they would sell. It's a 16-ounce cup, and then that is what they package it in, so that when people are wandering around town, it doesn't mean that you can suddenly open carry alcohol. That's not how that works. It has to be an approved container. So it is something that a city council would request it, they would approve it, and then that would go up to the MLCC. And then once that is approved, all of the restaurants that are liquor license holders would have to then put in an application for it. It's a pretty quick process from what I understand, because as you can see by the list I included in there, we're a little on the late to the party side. We've tried a run at Social District a couple different times and got upended, and since Missy brought it up, I thought this might be a great opportunity for us to try her again. So I've talked to the police chief, he's feeling pretty good about it. I've spoken with our city manager, who has said he's just not gonna fight us, perfect. And I've also talked with the city attorney, and he has a lot of due diligence. And if we get a nod tonight that people would like to talk about it further, our next steps would be to invite both the city attorney and the police chief to our next meeting to go over the whole process, answer questions, all those kinds of things. Is that fairly,
Yeah,
okay,
no, you did a great job.
okay.
Yep. And I mean, communities do it in a lot of different ways. I mean, some like to designate certain days, you know, it's not necessarily, 7 days a week. Anytime you want, you can walk around with a drink. Some cities do like a Wednesday to Sunday. Some places do 7 days, but it has to be between like noon and 10 p.m. So there's a lot of rules that we can kind of discuss and play around with if it's something that we're interested in doing. But again, like you said, many other places have done it, and it's become a very nice thing for their communities. I think a lot of places were concerned with it possibly being this, is there going to be people walking around with alcohol all the time and drunk people, like it's going to be a problem. And it hasn't been that for these communities. It's just been a nice, it'd be great for our events. If we have a social district, it would be good for, just evenings, families walking around, maybe one mom or dad, somebody wants a drink while the kids are having an ice cream. It doesn't turn into a problem for most of these communities. They've continued it, so it's working for a lot of other places.
Yeah, it was interesting. Missy and I were at a restaurant group meeting that downtown last night that is starting to kind of get legs and get going. And we brought it up there saying that we were talking about it here. And Dimitri from O'Connor's, they opened a place down in Clawson. And he said Clawson is a social district, and he was super nervous of what that was going to look like exactly. Is it, people running around? He said, honestly, it's more during events that people are coming in to get a drink so they can go walk around the events and enjoy it. But he said it's been very easy to manage. And he hasn't heard one problem at his bar or any of the bars in Clawson that it's been good. And we talked to a ton of different towns that are managing them, and it's just, they do seem, there are some random drinking throughout the week, but really event time is the main time that people are taking advantage of the social district.
And Jessica and I talked about this today, because when I was looking through your packet, I saw all the cities, so I felt the same way. It's like, wow, there's a lot of cities that are doing this.
Yeah.
And I know it came in, since I was on council, it came in front of council, and we talked about it, if I'm not mistaken. Was
We
it council?
haven't. I think council may have talked about it. We haven't brought it there, because we brought it to a meeting a year and a half ago, and
Jeff
Was
came.
it here?
yeah, it was.
Okay, because I remember
Yeah,
discussion.
it was here, and at that point, it felt like there wasn't going to be the support that we needed.
That's
There
what I
seemed to be
thought.
some trepidation, and we had a lot of other, as Ben would say, I'm gonna use a Ben, bigger fish to fry. And so we just kind of, stuck it in the drawer, and now it's seeing the light of day again.
That's what I remember it being, that there wasn't a lot of support at that time. I feel differently. I feel supportive of it. And we were just talking, I didn't even think about this being on the agenda, about, the Lions Park and how that's rolling out. My question would be, because that was very successful last year, but because we're trying to figure out the ownership and all of that stuff, would that could that be part of the social district? Would that be something that could be considered? Because
Yeah.
that really made that a great event space.
I would think so, but the one thing that I will say is, and it's a nuance of this, is that if you're having a special event, whether it's us or Mills or whoever within that, they still have to pull a license to serve.
Yeah.
But they would have to follow the social
Right, right.
district. But you won't have to have, like a Kris Kringle, for instance. We wouldn't have to have that really horrible orange fencing that we have to string for
Right.
blocks.
Same
Yeah.
thing with if anybody came to the Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
We had to fence in that entire area because we wanted to be able to have a bigger footprint where people could come into the warming tent, walk
Right.
around. That would alleviate that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I love the idea for events, and Councilmember Clauser had mentioned, like, even for the parade, you grab a beer and you stand out there and watch the parade.
Yeah.
So it does,
And there are a lot
you
of
know,
rules too with, if you read through the information Christie sent, there's a lot of rules where, for example, if somebody bought a drink from Rochester Mills, they can't walk into another liquor license establishment with that same cup.
Right.
So, because that could get murky with who served what, who overserved, so it's very, the state has put forth a lot of rules on how it has to be run.
I guess my only other question would be, once you are running it and decide what the parameters are, can you change those parameters and say, this is not working all week long? We think
I would
we should-
assume that you can, but that would be a better question for Attorney Crott.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get him in here. I seem to recall there was some requirement of having proximity to the licensed establishment as well.
So it was if you were having a small area, if we just designate the downtown district, then you don't have to have that, because we've got so many liquor licenses that
Running around with
they'll be.
half-gallon yards of margaritas.
Yeah, no, because then they're all in proximity if we designate the downtown district, like the CBD.
Yes, I have
Everybody
two
would be in.
questions. Number one, would private establishments, like I have a lot of different businesses have an event and they're handing out drinks at the event, is that going to be something that can be taken out of the building, or they have to
I
stay in
don't
that
think so.
building?
I don't know at all how it works. I only know when you have a liquor license, how
Right.
my operation
Only-
works. So a place that serves alcohol at their store or whatever, I don't know how that
Yeah,
works.
you have to apply for, you have to, as a liquor license holder, you have to apply to be a part of the social district. So unless you
fine.
have a liquor
You
license.
have to hold either a Class C, a hotel license, a brew pub license. There's a list in there that the state has put on their website of licenses you have to hold in order to be approved to be
Yes.
able
All right, that
to.
answers that, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
The next thing I would ask is that if we're going to commit, if we're going to be going forward to this, I would like a lot of other cities to give us their feedback on what their pros and cons have been, and what were their barriers that they had, and where did they have the areas that could be social.
So, Paul, can I comment on that?
Yes.
Dana and I have unofficially become agents of investigation of social spaces.
Thank you.
So we've been to Saugatuck and Holland and Grand Haven and
He's actually
Petoskey
sampling.
and Traverse City and
It's a little
Lexington.
bit different, but.
Thank you for doing your research.
Yes, yeah. And we find that
One
they
for the
work
team.
very well.
I understand that viewpoint.
But I do have one question. It seems that at some point Woodward, or not Woodward, I'm sorry, Main Street was a concern because MDOT owns it.
Right.
Would we have to have two separate districts?
We would not. So that was
Okay.
one thing that Attorney Crott, at that meeting, he had clarified. He spoke with the city attorney for Ferndale. That was the case at the beginning of COVID, and then they had adjusted that. So there's no issue with the state highway, nor would we have to have two separate districts.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think that, I'm sorry, go ahead. Don?
Yeah, the question I have is, so each individual establishment can participate, or if they choose not to participate? It's
But they all have to have liquor licenses
In order to participate.
in order to participate.
Yeah, but if they,
Even if you have a liquor license, you can choose not to participate.
correct.
Correct.
Yep, yeah, you don't have to apply. What a lot of the cities that we talked to recommended is that when we put the application together to city council, that they include all the liquor license establishments in it, so that way, then if someone, at later date decides to apply, they can just go ahead and send it up because it was part of the initial application. Otherwise, they would have to come back before council separately, public hearing, do the whole thing. So everybody recommended that it was so much easier. Put everybody on it. That doesn't mean that they have to, because the onus is on them then to take the next step and actually make the application.
Okay, I'm going to be picky again. If like a liquor store, like the wine shop, et
No.
cetera, they can't do anything?
Nope.
Good.
No, you have to have one of
No,
those
I
licenses in a wine shop.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't want it to become too
You know, dudes
Open,
walking
open.
around with brown bags, yeah, no, I don't think.
Well, it
Yes.
has to be in that cup that the
yes.
city approves, that is logoed, you know, and if you go on some of these places that you've listed, I've spent some time going on their websites to see what they've done and how they've, you know, they've got either window clings or posters inside the businesses that participate. They've, like you said, it's very designated where you can take it. It can't go in parking garages. So there's a lot of rules that go along with it. It's not just this willy-nilly, anybody can, you know, carry a drink anywhere. Stores have the opportunity to say, you know, just like in with ice cream shops or whatever, you can't take, you know, outside food or drinks into a store. So it doesn't mean that the whole city will just be walking around with cups and in and out of stores and doing whatever they want. So.
Okay, yeah, because that would be buying something from one beer place or from your place
Yeah.
and then going into.
You can't.
Cruising
And,
near
yeah, you
something
cannot
like that.
take it
Can't do
into, no.
Okay, good.
You can't take liquor from one establishment into another,
Excellent.
Unless it's already
Yes.
in your body.
unless it's in your body.
Yes.
And then, if I remember when you presented before, was it that the whole booze menu at that restaurant, or would it just be a few special drinks? I thought it was presented before, so it could be anything, whatever.
It could be yeah. And I
They
think-
might decide to just do a few things, or they can
And
do
yes,
it all.
the establishment could say, like, here are our drinks to go.
Specialty drinks that are
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that when I spoke with Ferndale, they said there were a couple bars that, like, in the summer, they were like, it's only these 3 pre-mixed cocktails, and they had them already put together, and then they fill that, and off you go.
Right.
So it really,
Also, and again, I don't know if this was in your stuff or if it was in the state of Michigan, things I was looking at, but like a restaurant can't just sell it out their door. You know, like you have to come into the place, or onto the patio, or have the special license if it's a case of an event. You can't just be like, you know, you could come up to the edge of the patio and I could pour you a drink and off you go. Like, there has to be,
Normal
yeah, a
interaction
transaction.
and,
It has to be a
yeah.
regular transaction.
The only thing I could see is that maybe more underage drinking might happen because you're on the street and you don't have the eye of the waitress or the bartender paying attention to letting someone else drink part of their drink.
If they're on the street drinking part of the drink, you wouldn't
Can't
be
do anything
able
about
to,
it.
yeah.
That's the only thing I could see maybe happening.
We have
I mean,
guys
obviously
with
they would
guns and
be-
badges to handle that part
Right,
of
I
it, so.
suppose that, yeah.
They would be carded at the establishment,
Exactly,
but once it
right.
left the establishment,
Right.
yeah, nobody would know.
Right.
The one thing that we can never police is morality, so.
Yeah,
it's like, you know,
for
just
sure.
let people make good decisions.
For sure.
All right, so,
Interesting.
so we didn't want to do a bunch of recon if there was no interest in it. So is it
Right.
fair to say that, yeah, we've got some interest, let's get some folks together, get some more intel and
Mm-hmm.
go from there? I will say that I know Clarkson has had a huge success with theirs, Royal Oak, Ferndale, obviously. So there's a lot of really good, sometimes it's really good to be coming in not at the bleeding edge of something, but coming in after all the bugs have been worked out. So now we have the benefit of everybody's, what's worked and what hasn't worked, so we'll be able to put a list together. So for next meeting, let's get Attorney Crott in and get Chief George in to kind of give us their feedback. And then if you guys have any additional questions that may pop up, obviously in January, we're not going to be running out to Clarkston to hang out in their,
Well, we
beer
might need
garden.
to
We
do a
could go
field
sample.
trip. We
I-
might have
okay.
to do a field trip.
You know what? That's right. We'll get the
Who wants to
OPC
volunteer for
bus.
that
and we'll,
subcommittee?
Yeah, exactly.
Nick will drive us in the OPC bus and we'll go out there.
So Ben, I have a question. Is this something that this body would initiate as a request for town?
But it would have to go to city council.
Yeah, it's a creature of council, not of us. It would just be us asking for them to take a look at it.
Us asking council to
Correct.
consider it?
and I think the other discussion that we'd have to have after we talk to Jeff and the chief is that, would we be willing to manage it? Because somebody has to manage it in terms of the signage, working with the businesses to get the cups, logos, window clings. Somebody's going to have to do that, and it's a question of if we feel strongly enough, we think it's a benefit to the businesses, would the DDA be willing to, as a part of that, to tell council, we'll manage it if you do the legislation?
I would be curious to see if the other communities have charged a fee to the establishments to sort of manage the process. I don't know that. I'm just curious.
Anybody I've talked to hasn't. There's been 2 different models
I
that
don't
I've
know how
seen
much
with the
it's about.
cups. That's where the monetary is.
Gotcha.
Some people just do it as a pass-through. Some people have put a premium on the cup so that they make a little money off selling the cups.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends on how we feel about
This is
it.
not going to be a fundraising venture for the DDA, so
No,
this would be.
no.
just cover our costs.
It is not.
Right? Okay, all right, well, the bottom line is that there is interest and we will continue. So we'll bring this forward. The reason why it's in goals and objectives, obviously, this is a major policy change for the DDA. There will be some cost and of time, energy, effort, and life force to get it up and running, and then sort of an ongoing maintenance basis. So we'll continue the dialogue. It feels to me like this, if and when this happens, it's got a long way to go to get before council. So to have it be part of the budget for this year, I can't imagine there's going to be anything in there for us to do unless it gets to the end, or I don't even know what to put in there as a placeholder, right? So,
I can give you ideas.
all right, well, we'll talk about it. So, again, we'll talk about it. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, all right, very good. Any other questions regarding Las Vegas? Moving forward. Big Bright Light Show, Madam Director. Uh-oh.
I couldn't get through goals and objectives without a presentation,
Right.
So, Ben and I had a few conversations, and so I thought I'd put a few things together for you. So in case you haven't seen these photos, so I want to talk a little bit, just kind of briefly recap results of this last holiday season, and then talk about where I see things going for the next holiday season. So obviously this is our lanyard photo from Chief George. That my favorite text that I've gotten from George, I texted him, I said, hey, any problems tonight? How'd it go? And he responds with, well, we lost a child, and then he sends me this photo. And so I texted back and I said, so nice pic. Did we find the child? And he's like, oh yeah, but it's a good pic, right? Yes. So this is the first time I've ever been accused of AIing a photo. When I posted this out on our social, I had so many people. My personal favorite was, obviously AI, do better downtown Rochester. I'm like, I got it from the chief. Like I got time for that. But anyway, so Lanyap this year was a big event for us for a lot of reasons. It was 20th of the Big Bright Light Show, and our friends at Channel 7 that have always been media partners with us had reached out to us this year and said, we would like to go a little further, and we would actually like to broadcast the lighting of Lanyap live on the 7 o'clock news, which we had never done before. Dave Llewellyn, who is still with us, but when he was still with the station, he would have live cut-ins, but we never had the actual, that moment. So they promoted the heck out of it, just nonstop. Honestly, even my mom, who loves every little thing we do, she goes, geez, Christy, I can't turn on the TV without seeing you guys. They were promoting us 2 weeks ahead and all day. That's Glenda Lewis. They're all bundled up, broadcasting the news from there. The best thing that I can say about Lanyap, we had over 45,000 people. That's a stat from the police chief. They have a mapping software using the drones that they're able to map the people in town and estimate people inside the buildings and based on parking capacity and all that good stuff. So 45,000 is our number. Between that and Channel 7, it felt bigger in the moment, and as time went on, we discovered that it just was bigger. We had so many more people coming here for the first time, people that had been but hadn't been back in a minute, and the whole season just felt bigger. And I think, whether intentionally or not, the light show leveled up. Channel 7 kept promoting us as the premier holiday destination in Metro Detroit. I don't know that I'm going to claim that, but I was like, okay. Yeah, let's go with that. But people started leaning in on that, and I would say that there wasn't a moment that you would come downtown during the season that there weren't people everywhere. And that momentum continued. Just as a note in terms of our social media, because I'm always looking for data, because I love data, that post, honestly, I did everything wrong. That post I put up at about 11 o'clock the night of Lanyap, after Chief George sent it to me. Not anywhere in our algorithm does anything say 11 o'clock. Our prime moment is 7 p.m. But this shows you just from this one post, we had 1.1 million views of just this one photo on our little downtown page that has 49,000 people on it.
Incredible.
So pretty impressive. You also see 746 comments. At a certain point, my team had to tell me to step away from the comments. It got a little ugly over there, because then people would be like, no, I was there, it looked like that. No, you weren't. I was there and it didn't look like that.
It's almost time to hire moderators.
Honestly, it was exciting, but it was, likes and shares and everything. We had over 1,000 shares. We had over 12,000 reactions, likes, loves, wows, all that good stuff. Taking that one step further this was just for that one post. This is our social for the whole season. So this is from Lanyap until just this past Sunday when the lights went off. So 3.7 million views, that's 227% up from the previous period the year before. So again, like I said, it felt bigger. I can tell you that starting on Lanyap, I always know when I go home, one of my favorite things to do is doom scroll on my Facebook and my Instagram, because it's gonna be everybody that I know with photos of the light show. But that turned into every day. Every day people were posting. They were making those memories, doing all of those things. And it really got us thinking a little differently about that. And then, of course, my favorite slide that I always do for you guys for the last couple years, our media slide. It just gets bigger and bigger. So again, as way of explanation, this isn't somebody just posting, oh, go the light show are these dates. These are people that actively did stories about the light show that were on, like Midwest Living. We are one of the top 50 destinations in the Midwest to come for the holidays. All of these were articles specifically about us, or as you can see, a couple of the stations, they came down here filming for us. And of course, Fox and Friends, for anybody who happened to hear about that, that was an exciting opportunity for us. And that was the first time we've been on the national stage in terms of television ever. And the last time that we had national coverage was in 23 when we were covered by the Wall Street Journal. So so again, like I said, it felt bigger at the start, and as we were recapping, as we were going through the season, it continued to feel that momentum. We heard it from the businesses, we heard it from the restaurants, we heard it from the community that there was something special happening in Rochester this year. So then we come to the dreaded question that I get every year, and I dread it as soon as it comes to me. This is the question I get. When a media person calls me and says, "What's new this year?" I have been dancing on this for years. So here's a couple fun facts. We haven't added anything new to the show since 2009. Those things that we added in 2009, we took away in 2012 for budget. So the show hasn't been touched, other than me being able to get new light colors. We're at the level now that I can design light strands and we can get new light colors. We haven't materially changed anything other than closing the street on Lanyap. We haven't materially changed anything to the Big Bright Light Show in 10 years, more than 10 years. So this year, because it was 20th anniversary of the show, and I had the gift of Channel 7 that they're gonna broadcast live, I was very much, when people asked me the question this year, I was like, woo, we did that, and look at the ornaments, and here you go. Next year's 21. This year is 21. I don't have any shiny pennies to show them. So we've been talking about a few things, and I sat down with Ben, and I said, hey, if there was something that we wanted to do, what would you think about that? And he said, well, why don't you put an idea together and get to goals and objectives. So I put my little thinking cap on, and I've got something I want to show you guys. So let's start a little bit with goals, because, Jessica and I were just talking about this. What's the point? What's the purpose? So this is the lens that I looked at it with. Obviously, we need to freshen the show because it's been over 10 years since we've done anything to it. I want to amplify our existing investment in the show. I'm not talking about a whole separate event or something completely different. Lights are our thing, and I think that we need to lean in on that, but that doesn't mean we have to big bright more things to accomplish that goal. I want to focus on destination making, not decorating. Trust me, if you gave me $1 bazillion, I would light the heck out of this town. We'd have climbing L's on every pole. I'd have all the things. But what I was trying to look at it with the lens of what's going to move the needle to make somebody say, you know what, I wasn't going to go to Rochester this year, but I'm going to go this year. Or, hey, I've already been, but I'm going back. We have a lot of repeat visitors, but I always have the concern, I like to be ahead of it. I never want people to make the decision, oh, Rochester, there's nothing new. I've seen it. I'm not going to go this year. So that one person deciding they're not going to go, that means they didn't have dinner at Missy's. What if 10 people decide that? What if 100 people decide that? And then it becomes something. We don't want to be the people that are not evolving. And then last but not least, creating must-see moments to inspire those return visits. The lights are a thing. Trust me, I have photos all over our feeds of people, and people send them to us all the time of themselves with the lights. So knowing that kind of took me to another place. Okay, so what do we know about the lights? What do we know about Rochester? We are a Hallmark movie waiting to happen. If one more person tells me, you know, you need a Hallmark movie, I know. I can't get that right now. We've tried, Lisa tried, I mean, we've tried. Hopefully that will magically come to us, but you never know. So, yeah, but we are a Hallmark movie waiting to happen. The word used most to describe Rochester the holidays is magical. I see it in the stories that people write about us. I see it in the social posts that people send us. Magical seems to be the consistent word about Rochester. This is a quote from one of my favorite articles that was on Awesome Mitten that somebody wrote about Rochester. A journalist actually came to town, spent the day, went all over, but they used the phrase that downtown Rochester gives main character energy. And I loved that. It's not just the backdrop to the lights. It's not just a backdrop to what happens here. It's a place. And there's so many things that contribute to that. But as soon as I saw that, I read that 10 times, and I think I sent it to everybody because I just absolutely loved it. And we are known for our memory-making moments. That's why people come here. And it isn't just the show. It's year-round. People love all of that. So knowing that we need, in my mind, that we need to do something to the show, keep it fresh, keep it moving, knowing these are the things that are touchstones that we know about the holidays for us, I had an idea. So, the most wonderful time of the year, a Big Bright Light Show experience. It's a walk through a Christmas rom-com starring you. That is a total ChatGPT thing. I can't take credit for it, but it looked like I wanted them to create a Hallmark movie poster. There it is. For anyone who's not in on the joke of the most wonderful time of the year, that is the song that we have since year one, Flip the Switch to the Big Bright Light Show online now. It is always the most wonderful time of the year, Andy Williams version. Only the Andy Williams version. It is my ringtone, it is life. Anyway, so the idea is that we would create an immersive holiday photo trail set within the glow of the Big Bright Light Show, designed to make visitors feel like they've stepped into a Christmas movie. Now, when you think of like your traditional Hallmark Christmas movie, your Hallmark, your Christmas rom-com, it has certain elements. And so I've come up with 5 different elements that I'd like to introduce that I think hit on each of those items. And that, again, this could be something marketing. We're not just throwing up more lights, we're telling a story and inviting people to come into our story and make it their own. So the first thing, because of course you always have to have that when your rom-com starts, you have to have the meet cute. How does your 2 main characters suddenly meet? Wouldn't it be cute if they were on this cute ornament bench that we would place in one of our areas downtown? It's a 9-foot by 7-foot. It is not small. But wouldn't that be a great little place for people to start with their meet cute and they get that cute photo for themselves? And then, of course, if you're going to be going into a rom-com, you know that there's a big Christmas tree. So when I say under the tree, I mean it. I'm talking about a 16-foot lighted tree with a 9-foot opening that people could stand under and be a part of and immerse in those lights. So you've got your meet cute. You've got the Christmas tree. What else do you need? But not any Santa. This isn't the best picture. They actually have to build it for me, but they sent me this one. It's a 15-foot 3D Santa.
Cool.
Big Santa energy is what we're talking about. So it's 15 by 6 foot by 6 foot. He's a big guy. But these are not normal little things. These are iconic that you would be like, oh, look at that one. Oh, look at that one. I want to be a part of that. And then, of course, so you did the meet cute. They were with the tree. They've seen Santa. But don't they need to take their first picture? So this is a 9-foot by 6-foot photo frame that we could position on a side street, but with the light show in the background, so that they could get their photo so you see the light show, but this is their moment with the frame and all of that. So you have your meet cute, you're under the tree, you've got Santa, you've got that special selfie that you took of everybody. So then we want to cue the snow. And what does that mean? One of the things that we did back in the day in 2007 was a little thing called the Snowflake Show. We want to bring it back. The Snowflake Show that I'm proposing would have 33 5-foot snowflakes dancing every 15 minutes to the most wonderful time of the year. This would be our final scene, where it's behind them, it's flashing, it's glowing, and it's magical. So doing all of these things, I believe, why should we do this? It creates the new attraction that I had already mentioned that I feel that we very much need. It brings the show to new areas of downtown that do not have the lights. This is not something I'm sticking up on Main Street. We're gonna be putting this in areas where there is already electricity and that do not have the show, so it would be attraction for areas, because we do have a lot of people that ask us, when are we gonna be expanding the Big Bright Light Show more? I feel like this would be of more value, because I don't know that more lights are the answer to make people come more. I think it has to be something different, but still have the touchstone of the lights, because that's exactly what the light show is. Create social-worthy, memory-making moments. This will be all over our social, all over everybody's social, and it's different, and it's iconic, and they're not little 5-foot photo spots. They're wow moments that you turn the corner and you want to find. And then it builds on our brand that Channel 7 has started for us as a premier holiday destination in Metro Detroit. So these are my thoughts. I am open to all thoughts. I certainly could come up with more displays, but I wanted to do something a little bit more modest, because I didn't want to, I know we have other things to spend money on. But as Ben tells me, the only sale you don't get.
It's the one you don't ask for.
That's correct, so here I am. I do have a budget slide, but I don't know if anybody wants to see that.
I do.
Sure.
Whatever, dude. Just hit the button, hit the
Okay,
button.
so there's two budgets I'm about to show you.
Okay.
One is this year's budget, because we have to purchase the displays, purchase the snowflake show, all of that. Then after that, if we just keep it as is, it's just installation and removal. So there's a higher investment this year, and then it drops significantly the second year in subsequent years. I did also ask the question what an average lifespan is for these types of items, and they said, of course, it deals with weather, all these kinds of things. They are made out of metal, they're powder coated, they're very good quality, but they said we could get easily 8 to 10 years out of these items.
See if we can lease them.
Yes.
Let's
Okay.
see the number.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so the 4 displays at $24,360. Again, we can be flexible in displays. I can see if they have things a little smaller, if we're trying to get the number down in any way. Snowflake Show is a very solid number, because it comes with the driver and the speakers and all, it's a package, so that is significant. I was able to talk to our friends at Dan's who do the light show to get some ballpark estimates. For the displays, all 4 of them, they're thinking $6,100 for the first year. They would track time and materials to make sure that they're not charging us too much. They're always very generous with us in that way, so we'd make sure that that number lines up. And then Snowflake Show installation is higher this year, because they actually have to install eye bolts, just like if we were big brighting a building. You have to put in the eye bolts and all of the things to make it go. But in subsequent years, then if we're only paying for display installation and Snowflake Show installation, and again, those are estimates, it drops all the way down to $15,000, which I think is very reasonable. My little asterisk is that this doesn't include any sponsorships or partnerships. As you know, I'm often excited to go find and ask people to pay for my dreams. So, yes. So this is what I'm thinking. I just wanted to throw it out, since it is goals and objectives, and see if anybody's as excited about this as I am.
Sounds great.
I think it sounds great, and I love your excitement. You're great, you're great at presenting your ideas. But what I really like, to your point, is that how some of the side street people have said, when am I gonna get lights, or, why are we not part of this? To me, that's the biggest win on this, is that you're bringing, and not to mention that Main Street gets insanely crowded sometimes. So this is gonna spread the population of people coming downtown to other areas, which would be very helpful.
Yeah, I did do a little just early prospecting of areas. I think that my target streets where I already have electricity and I have ground space are Walnut, University, East Street, and Water Street.
And that, weren't the snowflakes on your building before?
Long time ago.
Yeah, because the
Back-
people
back in the
actually have
Rotary
talked
World.
to me about
Yeah.
those. Where'd those snowflakes go?
So, yeah, the
people do
snowflakes were
remember.
actually inspired by Saks Fifth Avenue does a snowflake show on their flagship store in New York, and so that's where the idea originally came from. It was on the Mills because the second year of the show, Roy Rewald had called me and said, "Hey, love what you're doing. I want to do something too. What do you have that's different?" He goes, "I don't want to big break the mill. What do you have?" And so I said, well, here's something I've had in my pocket that I really would love to do. And so he actually purchased with us the Snowflake Show originally, and then he paid for the installation each year until he passed. So Roy's
So
very
it-
generous. So that's why we had it, and then when Frank had taken over the property, he had a lot of other things that he was trying to do, and the snowflake show
Sure.
wasn't a priority for him, so then we ended up putting in mothballs. The snowflakes then migrated, they were on the fire department, they were on some buildings south of town, like by the bridge, and then they just, they wore out and they've gone away.
Do you have warehouse space to store these between the years?
So all of our items are stored in like 2 shipping containers, very large sea containers that have all of our things. All the displays break down, so they don't come as that, they
Okay.
come smaller. I believe, and in talking with Dan's, they think we would have enough room. They do have warehousing available to us over at Dan's if we had some things that we need to put in a
Where's the
different
Connex
place.
at? Do we keep the Connex over at Dan's, or is it here?
No, they're here, they're,
We're just buying- They're $2 a piece, so I mean, it's.
yeah, no, we're not gonna reveal where they are, but yes, they're in town.
Got it, okay.
They're in.
And how, is there funding for this? I know that's part of
Well,
what
that's the
this
question now, isn't
discussion.
there?
All right, so that's part of why we're, so if there's interest in looking at that, then we're gonna put this into what we bring back to you guys in February. I will just say, from an advertised standpoint, over the course of 10 years, it's $4,400 a year plus installation, so you're looking under 20 grand a year to do this. And it's way more bang for the buck than spending another $100,000 on lights and then having that installed elsewhere. And, oh, by the way, we've got a lot of competing interests for capital, certainly in the next 2-3 years. So, so just sort of food for thought. So this would be obviously a capital expenditure, so that fits within the criteria that we set forth. It is expanding the program, it is keeping it fresh. All of the things, I don't have a creative bone in my body, so this was why we have Christy and I make a great team, because I don't, it's like my wife is an interior designer, I don't get any of that stuff, I'm an accountant. But from a cost standpoint, this feels like it's really good bang for the buck. As far as an incremental installation cost, the guys are already there doing it. They're just
Yes.
going to tack it on, so it's not going to be a separate team from Lower Slobovia having to come out every year and do their thing. So,
I think the big, because some people, I can hear already, some people and the powers to be saying, oh, we already have enough people that come in Rochester. Why do we need this? We have a lot. Really, the biggest selling point to me is drawing them on other streets, drawing them
well,
to the
that,
side
you want them to
streets.
keep coming. You don't want them to not come.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you made this point when we talked about it at one point, people will come back. They might come once with their family to see the lights, and then, oh, this was a cool thing, we didn't have time to do
you
it.
have all these
Let's go
all
back
over town, I
downtown.
guess.
Yes.
Twice
Oh, we
in
only
one
made it to
season.
2 of them, I wanted to see that, the frame thing, let's go back. So it just gives people maybe a couple more reasons to come into town than
Have
just.
you seen
they
these
saw the
in your,
lights.
obviously, other people have used these units and
Yeah,
how
so,
they've been
it-
implemented?
Yeah, so actually, the company that we're working with is Winterland. They are the original company that designed the light show with me. They do wild lights at the zoo.
Okay.
In terms of quality,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I know, it's cool, isn't it? Yeah, so they had a couple custom pieces that they were showing me, but I thought it might be better if we go with some standard stuff, although I'm working on the Santa because he doesn't look as jolly as I would like him. So we're working on that. But I feel very confident in them. We get all of our lights through them for the light show. They still, even though when we bid it out, they were higher back in the day of the Big Bright Light Show, why we moved it locally, because we really wanted to do that anyway. But they had to include, as Ben would say, housing and travel, because they're in Indiana. So,
Oh, sure.
but they love they get a ton of business from us, because people call all the time, where do you get your lights? Because they're a commercial grade LED that you can't just walk into a store and buy. So they are very kind to us, and so I was going through their catalog and said I kind of like these things, and then they sent it back and they showed me the retail price and they showed me the DDA price, which was substantially lower, usually
Oh, great.
sometimes by like 30%. And the frame I really wanted, but I didn't think I could afford, and they got it to a good price for me. So,
Good
yes,
for
sir.
you.
Christie, one thing that I had the opportunity to see was synchronized drone displays.
Mhm.
And it ties in with the lights, all the different colored lights, and the figures that they can create, Santa Clauses and so forth, are pretty impressive.
Yeah, I know that Anthony has been looking to that with the city of drone shows, and they end up on average about anywhere from like 30 to 40,000 to do a really nice drone show, but that's an annual cost, and
Yeah.
that's they do it once, they
One
don't
night,
do
yeah,
it continually
yeah.
every night. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I love those, I just don't know if they're sustainable for us, but they're fun.
Not now.
What's the special cost on the Christmas tree?
The cost, here, I got my paperwork. All right, so.
Oh, Christie's looking that up. Dana and I went to, what was it, Holiday Dazzle? It's out where the Renaissance Festival is.
Oh, yeah, okay.
In their village, they lit it all up. But we took the two little grandkids with us, and they had a walk-through Christmas tree like this. And when the little kids got back to their parents, they're like, we went to a Christmas tree you could actually walk through. So
Yeah.
it did make an impact on
Yeah.
people,
Yeah. So our price on the tree is $8,000 for the 16-foot tree.
So the question is there enough interest to include this in the budget? Shall we
Yes.
include this and bring it back to you in February?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, all right.
genius.
Cut.
And I'll start to work on some sponsorship opportunities,
Yes.
so that there will be a revenue offset for some of these things, because while it might not make a dent the first year, in subsequent years, I think it would
I
make a
think
big.
the La Puma's Christmas tree would be fantastic.
No, that's the La Puma's hot dog eating contest for Heritage Festival that I'm working on, thank you.
Bravo to your creativity. Bravo to Christie's continued creativity. It's just
Yeah,
really
100%.
creative genius.
Yeah, it's so good.
Truly.
I try, I appreciate it, you guys. When Ben said, yeah, show me something, then I literally ran back and didn't sleep for 3 days, and then here we are.
Great idea.
So,
Again,
yes.
the only sale you never get is the one you don't ask for, so you asked for it, and there you go.
And there it is. Okay, I'm sitting down now.
Although I don't,
Thank you.
I'm not sure anybody ever tells you no, so I'm just saying.
Hard to say no to her, isn't it? That's what I told you the other day. How do I say no to you?
Right?
And I said, then don't.
That just shows, being prepared and having, having all your information before you present is.
And enthusiasm.
And the, 100% the enthusiasm and the creative, but
Yeah.
actually showing both sides of it are super important. Okay, Madam Director, Love Local Art Program.
Oh, that's me. Hi. So this is, we already have a line item for Love Local. I just wanted to give a little update. So as a part of the grant project, we do have permission from Huntington Bank to actually put a mural back there. The Love Local Art Committee in the fall had put together, and I think I had brought it here for everyone to review, guidelines for the actual piece, what we're looking for. And so in the spring, we're going to go ahead and put out a call for artists that we can attract for that. But on the other part of that, we had an opportunity, we were sitting at Planning Commission, and the people that are putting, it's a financial services, Nick? Financial service building in the old Village Cleaners. They have that south wall that fronts where the Auto Tech was, and they wanted to do something there because it's just a big blank wall, but they couldn't put anything that protrudes because it's lot line. So it can't be anything that goes onto the other property. And so Nick said, how about a mural? And I was texting him photos of things. I think Ben was there too. So we have an opportunity there that it sounds like he would be willing to fund it if we coordinate it. So it looks like with Love Local for this coming year, we're going to have a couple potential mural projects, which we're pretty excited about. And who knows what else will come up from there. But I think those are some great opportunities for us, and we have some good ideas. So to be continued, but we're just trying to continue to earmark that there's monies held in the Love Local Art for budget so that we can continue to do good work.
That's the commitment we made to council and to the community to continue to fund arts. So we will absolutely 1,000,000% be having that in the budget. So,
Yes.
good stuff. And as usual, we're always trying to find funding sources. So it's there.
It's
not, to the extent that we can offset that is always our true north. So that will never change. So, all right, so good stuff there. All right, we are at the point in goals and objectives where we sort of do round robin. If there's any thoughts that you have of things that you would like to see us spend from a capital investment project in the district, or things that people have talked to you about, or anything like that, that is not the Graham, that is not Big Bright, that is not Love Local Art. So I guess it's kind of, we can go around the horn. And Missy, do you have any? I'll just kind of go, I'll walk this way. I'm not picking anybody first, but somebody had to be first, so it's your turn. So nothing jumps out? Yeah, okay. All right, very good.
Yeah.
Mr. Bob?
Party lights in the little cubbies and alleyways and over by the parking garage, the corner bar.
Like the
Yeah, the little swag party lights, I don't know
Okay.
what the
Got it.
proper name for
all
them
right,
is.
yeah, I don't know what you call them. They got them at Costco. They're like $40 for the
I'll get a
100
pallet.
foot. Yeah, right.
What do you always say, a pallet make like a case of beer?
That's right.
That's
Get a
us.
case of Bud Light, and Mr. Ben and Tony and Bob will be out there hanging lights. It'll be great. Okay. All right, so
Sorry, I
that
have a
note is
visual of
made.
that.
Anything else on your Madam Mayor, you talk to everybody, so I'm sure that you've heard,
I talk a lot.
yeah, 100%. It goes with the territory. But have you gotten any feedback from anybody that things they'd like to see in the downtown that we ought to be thinking about, that we haven't already sort of addressed?
Well, I'm going to build on that, but also I want to go back 1 second
Sure,
for
yeah, go.
Art, that I was going to say, is that we had talked last year where the Lions Park is, when we were doing the events down there, and one of the issues there, kids graffiti on that bridge all the time, and it drives Frank Rewell just about insane. So I contacted RCS, and they were going to do a competition within the art students to submit. That went on pause, the year ran out, but I guess I'd love to interject if you could, for any of these, maybe that area, take that
Sure.
on into your art, so the theme goes along, but maybe involve RCS and have it be a student project. It came down to, well, who would fund the supplies, and the labor would be free, but maybe the supplies could be, and it might be a very cool thing for them. And we also thought, if kids did it, maybe the kids that are going to destroy it wouldn't destroy it, because they would sign it. And maybe it would be the senior graduating class or something, where people would be more hesitant to then graffiti over it. So just an idea to throw in there.
What's the Sparty rock, Bob, that everybody paints on?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Gotta guard it.
There's a rock.
Grown about 3 inches thickness.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, but to Debbie's point, when we had somebody that was tagging everything downtown, it was during Magical Mural Show a couple years ago, and for whatever reason, they respected the art. They didn't tag any of them, I don't want to tag them this year, they didn't tag any of our murals, and there were like 25 of them around, and they
Yeah,
were
that's-
right there.
Yeah.
So I
So
think
they are
it speaks to,
respectful.
I think that there is a respect. A lot of time, some people are doing graffiti for the sake of graffiti, some people are doing it as, it's their version of art, and they
Right.
respect art if it's there already.
Yeah.
So they'll find another place to go where we don't want them to, but yes, okay, I've got that.
Right, so that was backtrack for a minute. I just think there is opportunity with the pocket parks. I guess that's what we call them. And I think the biggest one, I walk through all the time to get to your office and to get to some of the bars on the alley, is that one there with the,
We have a concept. Tony?
and I know Tony's involved in the pocket parks. We've
Yes.
talked about pocket parks for a
Yes.
couple years. And I know, so do you want to interject now? Is that?
We're talking about taking that wall of fame
Yes,
down.
yes.
And the donors, we're thinking of putting the donors to the grant, put their plaques on the grant, or the same plaque or different.
Different plaque, but yeah.
But Maryland, I was going to bring that up. First of all, that'd be a great place for Santa too, a big Santa. When everyone comes in town, you see that new Santa sitting out there. But Maryland a while ago gave me some information on different furniture for these pocket parks, and it's great. I was looking at it again today. It's great. So I'm going to share it with Christy. But if we do the bocce ball park, we have to do some
just
different
gonna say.
types. Yeah, we got to do some different types, because people are going to sit and watch your friends play bocce. So, but she had some nice ideas. I'll share them with you, Christy.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll give you the
We can
book.
have the social district there, I can have a glass of Cabernet and smoke a cigar and play bocce.
That's correct. We actually did last year, we did on our social media, Taylor put it together, we did a this or that survey on Instagram. And it was narrowing down from like, would you like it to be, active? Would you like it passive? Would you like art? Would you like music? Would you like bocce? And after doing all of that, it narrowed down to bocce was the number one choice that people wanted to see there. So,
And sometimes they have to go like eat lunch there. They have the chess board in the cement. I know there's cement furniture you can buy. I've looked at those in the past.
Yeah.
And then on the corner too, by the funeral home, and why I'm forgetting the restaurant that's there right there.
Corner Bar.
Yeah, Corner Bar. And then even between we talked about this at City Beautiful, that the little bit by a couple of the parking lot, there's a little grassy area that could become more of a garden space. City Beautiful even talked about taking those on maybe as projects to keep them up and to make them beautiful in some way. And then I have always felt there's so much opportunity with the alleys. I don't know what that might look like, but I think it's Oxford that has restaurants really off the alley, and well, you're up that way, so you would know. To take advantage of entrances off the alley where people are eating and dining, and I don't know what that even looks like, and I don't even know how that would be accomplished. But the alleys are pretty big. The trucks can go down and there's still space, and we can hang out behind the jewelry store and have sandwiches. There's got to be something that can be done to make the alleys more appealing. A lot of people, I'm an alley walker. I walk down there rather than Main Street a lot of times. And so, anyway, that's that.
got it.
Okay. That has been a recurring theme over the
I
course of
bet,
time.
I bet this is
so-
not the first time. any
Yeah,
of
no,
that's
no,
been
it's,
talked about.
we actually did, God, back when I was on council, we had rear facade grants to try and get,
We did, it was during Main Street Makeover, because
Oh, yeah,
their
we
back
could-
doors
that's
were
right.
becoming their
Yeah,
front
yeah,
doors, and so
yeah,
we did that package, yeah.
but yeah, I remember when I was, I think I was both on DDA and council, when I was on council, we had those consultants in, I forget where they were from, Ann Arbor or something, but
I
we were
think Ann
walking
Arbor.
down, Main Street, and then we turned down the alley, and the lady goes, this is where you got it, right? So it's
Yeah.
what you were talking about, sort of
Yeah,
getting
so
out the.
just kind of a
so-
cool look. I'm going to be booed by this, but I'll say it because I know Nick and everybody heard me as soon as I came on council, and you heard me too. And it was resolved a bit, too many trash cans on Main Street, and I know they've taken a lot of them off Main Street. And I personally, I know that they like their signs out there announcing that they're open and stuff, but the easel signs, whatever you call those, drive me nuts. I know that the business owners will scold me for that, but there are businesses like South Street that has a beautiful sign that hangs out, and we have a place in Charlevoix, tons of the businesses have that, so you look down their Main Street and they have these really creative signs saying, this is South Street Skate Park, these are our hours, so you don't have those really unattractive signs that are on Main Street. I know that's not going to be well accepted, but I have to say it.
I'm just going to say I'm going to make a note, and we're going to leave
Okay,
it at that.
thank you.
How
Make
about
a
that?
note. I know that's never going to happen, but it's one of my goals. I actually, in my council book, I have pictures of Main Street and the signs, and yeah.
Maybe come up with other options, you know what I mean?
I know.
Something else.
And on a summer day, and you know this, when they have the outdoor dining, and you're trying to walk your dog or your stroller, and the signs are in the way, and it's like an obstacle course
That's
down
valid.
Main Street. And I get it, it brings people in, they say happy hour from da-da-da and da-da-da.
Or could they be maybe more cohesive, like where everybody
If there
has
was a theme, that would be
or
even
same
better.
size, because
Right.
I know what you're saying, like you
Right.
walk through and some are big and some are small and some
Right.
are up against the building, some are
Some
not.
are
but-
unattractive, some are more attractive.
Maybe we can try and benchmark some
Yeah.
stuff from around.
Nick, is there anything in the code that says how big or small they can be?
6 square feet, so it's all regulated, it doesn't talk about colors, you can't legally get away doing that. The Shaboomfield Hills, black and gold, and they can't do that anymore, so, the sign's regulated, location's regulated, 5 feet away from anything, so, do they follow that? No, it's just enforcement.
And maybe even to Missy's point, like if there was a suggestion, you might not be able to tell them the color, but maybe we're trying to go with something more cohesive downtown. And, and even in the front, everybody has a little different way that they do their flowers and their flower pots, and that gives individuality, but sometimes it's just a lot to,
At least we don't have the blow-up guy doing this.
yeah, we do not have that. Oh, don't even suggest that. That'll be the next to happen.
Paul's already spent the money trying to get it.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, very good. Tony, you got anything else other than, because within sight, you're like the point of
I'm
contact.
the Graham. That's all I got in my
100%,
mind.
yeah, we got 50 pounds of dirt and a 5 pound
Graham and
bag.
money.
That's it. Both are in the same sentence. Mr. Paul?
Nothing.
Nothing? All right.
I've got things, but I'm going to hold for
All right,
another
well,
time.
God bless you. Thank you for that. Ms. Lisa?
I second Bob's suggestion of the Edison lights in the alleys. I think it's such a cool look.
Sure.
I think it will look
Yeah, I think that's an easy
absolutely-
one, so we'll
Absolutely
take a
cool.
peek.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Dog park,
Dog park.
dog park,
Okay.
somewhere. So I don't know where, but somewhere.
Just as long as it's not at the bocce courts, we're good.
Right. I'm down with bocce too.
Yeah, okay. Very good. All right, so notes are made. Anything else that you received directly from anybody else?
I did not.
Okay, any of our liaisons have any, Mr. Bob?
So, we talked about doing the crosswalks, like, 4 of them at one intersection. If we spiff up the alleys and everything else, what if we connected the alleys on Third and, I guess it would be Second? Or Fourth to Third, or whatever, there's those crosswalks that bring you from the alley across, to the next alley, to the next alley. I think that would get a lot of visibility. And they wouldn't have to all be tied together. They could be, you could do both sides of Main Street. You could do 4 of them, you could do 6 of them or whatever, and, that could be a competition and
You're talking about art crosswalks.
painting the crosswalk with
Yep.
paint.
Gotcha.
That was an idea.
That was an idea that that got set on fire at council. So I don't know that we're going to go to that dance again, but I'm going to make the note.
Rocket launcher, flamethrower, and I forget what else, but.
Crosswalk guard.
Now, these can I ask, these crosswalks would be like behind the bank, Chase, going to the next area, and it would go across the street, and it would be a pedestrian thing where the cars would have to stop?
They're there now.
Yeah, it's,
At the alleys, they're very faint to cross there, but there are formal crosswalks at like the Walnut and 4th, 3rd and 4th. But what you're talking about is like from crossing from DeMarco's over to Chase, for instance. There's like informal, lightly painted crosswalks or not?
directionally suggested pathways?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I
So
like that.
perhaps it is a function of, and we'll have to get with Nick and DPW and the striping part of it, but the art part of it has been, I forget which Supreme Court justice talked about art, but it's like, it's sort of in the eyes of the beholder. And it was sort of an uncomfortable discussion when we approached it last time with council. So me, it's once bitten, twice shy.
I
I'm
didn't
like, yikes.
I hated it. I worried about it wearing out, with time, it would.
Yeah, we
Keeping
had,
the
I mean,
same.
I don't want to get into the crosswalk art discussion, it hurts. Because I wasn't here, and poor Taylor had to go
Yeah,
make
she
the
took the bullet.
presentation.
Poor- I felt bad for Taylor.
She got blown up one side and down the other, and we had all that research of the product and all of the things, and it just felt like it didn't matter if it was, hearts all over it, whatever it was, it wasn't going to go.
Yeah.
And that was
I
unfortunate.
think there was more pushback, not on the longevity part of it, although that was part of the discussion. It was more of the subject matter.
They were shapes, they were
I-
geometric
dude,
shapes.
I know, but.
Apparently, if you're getting
What's the old
squares.
saying around here? No good deed goes unpunished?
Correct. So, like I said, I made a note, but you will not be probably seeing me suggesting crosswalk art at any point.
Yes.
I'll give you more light displays. No, thank you.
This has nothing to do with probably you guys, but I have to think about it while you're talking about crosswalks. If you don't push it that you're going to walk, it will never tell you to walk. Is there a way to change that? So I go up to people and say, you can walk. Because in some cities, it's automatic.
No, my kids figured out if you push the button enough times, you can make it rap.
Who doesn't?
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of kids have figured that.
MDOT doesn't want it to be a,
On purpose, not just.
And it's also because of leader dogs, too.
Yep.
So,
okay.
unfortunately.
So many people, so many lost souls on those corners go through light after light after light, and it's like, did you push it?
All right.
Because you're never going to be told to walk across if you don't push
We'll
it.
have to hire somebody to play a flute and let them.
It's the oddest thing. It is to see them standing there. So, okay.
All right, so
it's that one.
we devolved your crosswalk discussion, so
Yes.
thank you for that, but no. So,
I took the note.
yeah, right? Yeah, no, we're good. Absolutely.
I'll add a third for bocce courts. Are they coming?
We are working hard on it.
You got the Italians
Graham
in charge,
number
man.
one, bocce number two.
Yeah, once you got the Italians up here, it's like, all right, we got to at least come through on the bocces. So that's high on the list. One of my favorite things down by Stroh's, the old Stroh's Brewery, but on the riverfront down there, they had the great, fantastic bocce court, and the guys wearing the white jackets, smoking cigars, drinking a little Cabernet.
Oh, yeah.
Daddy
So
liked
do you have to wear a jacket to use the bocce?
Well, I don't know about here, but down there you did. It was pretty cool. So
Bocce is so, like in Florida, we go to Florida, the bocce is more popular than the golf course. I mean, I think there's 700 people on the bocce teams. 700, more than the golf.
Tony
It's
sends me photos all the
unbelievable.
time. He's like, look at this.
I think I sent you pictures tonight. It's crazy.
Yeah.
and I don't know. Just as a quick aside, but what's up with mahjong? But it's like my wife and everybody is like totally into.
It's a
mahjong.
thing.
It's a
Like
thing.
what the hell? They just got back from Naples, and then the whole time they played mahjong. I'm like, dude, it was like beautiful outside. Did you go? We were playing mahjong. I'm like, all right.
And I spent some time in China,
Yeah.
and not only do they play a lot,
Yeah.
the amount of money
Oh yeah.
is played.
I don't want to know any about that, yeah. I don't want to know nothing about that. So all I know is my wife is behaving herself with the other. It started off as book club, which is now transitioned into mahjong, so whatever.
If anybody's interested, the chairman of the PSD, Jill Lutz, she is now a certified mahjong teacher.
Oh, but she actually may have been the one that taught these girls, because it's evolved. So with my wife's group, with the book club, my boys went to high school at U of D. It was U of D moms. They started off in spring break, and then the kids graduated, and they just figured they all like to drink wine and hang out, and it just sort of
I was going to
evolved
say, it's
from
just an excuse, Ben.
100%. Yeah,
Whether it's
no.
book club or it's mahjong.
I know. But anyway, everybody I talk to, everybody's into mahjong now. I'm like, sweet. Anyway, all right, so any other thoughts that you guys have? If anything comes up between now and our next meeting, just reach out to Christy and she'll pop it in there and we'll talk about it. In terms of budget, I asked Anthony and Marcy for some preliminary stuff and I haven't seen anything, so.
Haven't seen anything
I know
yet.
that they're 50 pounds of dirt in a 5-pound bag right now, so.
Massively, so.
100%. Yeah, okay, so Nick, I guess we'll follow your lead as to the schedule for us to get together, so as soon as you guys, and I'll shoot Anthony and Marcy a note, but we'll have numbers for the Graham, like I said, before Valentine's Day. We'll get that punched in. I promised council that I would go before them and give them an update, so I owe them that as well. But I'm not going back there if it's not already paid for, and I'm not, much like the sidewalk art, it's like, once bitten, twice shy.
We'll get Taylor to go.
I'm not going through that again. So we'll have that by, Valentine's Day, so if anything, we'll pop it in. So the next meeting, when we come here, we'll actually be to review numbers, the budget subcommittee. I'm guessing we'll probably get together Feb 7, somewhere around there. I don't know what day of the week, but right about a week before Valentine's Day is my guess. So we'll meet up here. Christy will bring Panera breakfast.
Everybody likes the little souffles.
Yeah, they were good. They were really good. We do eat well.
We'll have our capital projects.
Yep. Yep.
Years out.
Yep.
We'll bring that with us.
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. So I want to make sure that everybody is on the same page, is that, we make a commitment. Our true north in this board is capital, and we made a promise that we'll always make sure that our main goal is to make sure that we're doing what we need to do in terms of capital investment in the district, irrespective of the grant, knowing that that's going to be a huge suck for us this year in terms of cash flow, but we're still powering through with the rest of our commitments. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page with respect to that. All right, so next meeting will be budget stuff, so have fun. It's going to be awesome. It'll be Ben's spreadsheet time. This is like, oh man, baby, see how she likes her PowerPoints. I like my Excel.
He
So
does. He's so good. He and Anthony together, I'm like, whoa, I'm just going to sit here.
When Ben, Anthony, and
things.
Marcy start getting into like a GL account numbers and stuff like that, it's like, all right, Chrissy's like, just,
Yeah.
call me when you're done. So,
Yes.
so we'll have that for you guys next meeting. Is there any other, we got other stuff we got to do, sorry. Executive Director update.
Just a couple things not already on my report. Accreditation, thanks to everybody that was able to make the time to come and meet with John and Ray today. Ray was very excited about town, not as much excited about the snow. He's from Louisiana, so he didn't really love that. But we got a glowing report, and they'll be putting through our paperwork, but we are going to be accredited again. So
Excellent.
that was good news. Typically, once the report comes out, we'll invite John to a DDA board meeting, and he'll come and do the presentation and give us an update on what's what. So yes, so that's that one. And then, as I alluded to before, Missy and I were invited to, Chris Bacos had invited a bunch of the restaurants to get together, and we helped facilitate getting the word out about it. I think there was good discussion. I think a lot of the restaurants are going to try and start working together, and we're experimenting with Foodie February, which is starting next month, of putting together marketing packages for all of the businesses, or all the restaurants, so it's easier for them. They want to share it on social. Here's the graphic, here's this, because that's what they indicate, is that they have good intentions, but they get busy. And so we're going to try and make it a little bit more turnkey, do some server incentives for people to promote it, things like that, some fun flair for their servers that we're working on. What else am I missing, Missy?
That was basically our focus for now. A lot of good ideas, good discussion for some future stuff that we can maybe do together to just encourage, keep it a vibrant downtown so that we're all doing well.
What was the group that you met with?
The restaurants.
So all the restaurants downtown?
Yep.
All
So
of them were invited. Some came, And then hopefully it'll just grow from there.
Have you
know,
done
the
that
few were there.
before?
We haven't.
Oh, I love
It
that.
was actually, a few
I love
years
that.
ago, we used to
Oh,
get together.
long
but
time ago, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was more than a few years ago.
I love that.
But yeah, it was a nice time to get together, and, I mean, the ones who came kind of know each
Great
other.
ideas, and, yeah.
But it was a good time to reconnect and just kind of see where we all are with business right now and what we can do to
That's
increase business.
wonderful.
And,
Yeah, that's
How we
great.
can help, yeah. No,
Yep,
that's
so we'll
fantastic.
keep you posted, so.
And I think we're gonna get together, what did we decide, like every other month or every
Yeah,
third
so
month?
Kelly from Cruise and Mirror is going to host our next one. It's going to be in March. After, we're going to let Dimitri get through St. Patrick's Day. And then we're going to meet again.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it. And then just coming up for events and marketing.
Yep.
Jen was a little busy with Fire and Ice, so her report is at your place when you sat down today. This is another victim. See this cute little girl who's flying down the side? I had to wait there 20 minutes to get her picture because what I discovered is anyone in a dark coat, it just kind of blended in and I couldn't get them. So this cute girl in the pink. So then as soon as I posted, that's AI. I'm stopping. I'm not posting any more photos.
does
I
kinda
stood there
look
for
like it.
20 minutes with my glove off, with my hand, and I couldn't even feel it, trying to take this photo of this kid. So that was it. But Fire and Ice was really pretty great. Friday night was a little slower, but Saturday night really picked up for whatever reason. We did the fireworks, and we had a lot of people, and then a lot of people went off. We still had another hour in the tent, and a girl came up to me and said, "Hey, are you the DJ?" And I was like, "Sure. What do you want?" And she's like, "Can you play Cupid Shuffle?" Yeah. So I go through it, because we had hooked up my iPod for the fireworks show, because I did that playlist. For anybody who doesn't know, I was a DJ in college. So they're doing Cupid Shuffle, and then I'm like, how about a little hustle? So all of a sudden, the corner of the tent turned into a dance party. I don't know how this happened, but everybody was joking. The cops are coming and making requests. We were having a grand old time freezing in the tent for the last hour. I'll be darned if I don't go home. And I'm looking at the social. It broke out into a dance party. I'm like, is this a thing? We had somebody call and say, you guys have a DJ in the future. I'm like, what is happening? So that was just me and my iPod in the corner. We did the wobble. We did a few things. We ended with Don't Stop Believing. Just saying. But there you go.
Oh, dear.
That's my life. So anyway, but yes. So that's Fire and Ice, very successful, looking for more ways that we can streamline it and keep it going.
All right, very good. Financial report in the packet. Any questions, refer to myself or the director. Biz Dev, Paul? Or-
Paul wasn't at the
yeah.
last meeting, but.
He's getting his shoulder redone.
So what we had talked about is with the Holiday Expo, and this, it doesn't necessarily affect goals and objectives. Holiday Expo is still something we're doing, but it's become so popular, and we're starting to get more interest. Originally, we had opened it to people outside of town so that they could, so we could fill space. It seems like more and more we're not going to have to do that. So what BizDev is talking about is revamping the event just to, we're probably going to raise the rate a little bit because we haven't done that in a while. But also, we're going to look at a way, instead of now just having it out there that anybody can register for it, that we would have people apply, because we're trying to keep it back to Rochester, Rochester Hills, Oakland Township, and not just a bunch of random businesses that know that it's a great event and just want to be there, and then some of our businesses get shut out of that. So that's something that we're working on. We were successful with the hotel. I try every year, but they had this one group that always comes in right when we're there for the Holiday Expo, and they do all the rooms and food and room nights, which, we're just there with our one little room for 3 hours, and so we're not a big client for them. So we haven't been able to get the full ballroom in about 4 years, 4 or 5 years. We are able to get the full ballroom this time so we can accommodate more. So it's going to feel a lot better because it gets pretty tight in there. After 2.5 hours, we get about 800 people in there.
Yeah. Let's see, we could do the Graham and tent the parking lot up top.
We could. I think there's some lure of people wanting to come to the hotel,
Yeah.
but I'm all about the Graham, man.
Yeah.
But the difference is with the hotel, they provide all my table and linen,
Oh, yeah,
whereas
for
we'd
sure,
have to.
100%.
So
Yeah,
there's
no, I know.
but
Just,
I'm all about the Graham.
just
So-
thinking outside the box, as it were.
Yes, yes.
All right, very good. So, site, Tony, it's all Graham all the time, right?
All Graham, but we're
Okay.
close.
Okay, yes, we are very close, so this is good. I'm not running away or submitting my resignation, so that's a good sign, right? So,
I'll never let you leave.
right? No, we're in good shape. We are in great shape, actually. Okay, very good. Any other parting words of wisdom from anybody?
I just want to thank the DDA that Raya does, tries to tie in, and before with this fire, was a spaghetti dinner at the fire
Oh, awesome,
department.
yeah.
And thank you. It was put on your social media, and I think it was a great success. So I was wondering, because it's right across from where there was some food trucks, and there was food in that tent, but people that like spaghetti dinners like spaghetti dinners.
They do.
And
Plus
they
the kids like going to the fire
They like
station
going to the
and stuff.
fire
Yeah,
station.
right.
So we appreciate the support for Raya, and it was successful, so thank you.
No, it's a big deal for the fire department.
Yeah,
and
they
we're-
love it,
we
and
always
they
put
actually
support.
funded, they're not asking us to refund the supplies, they donated to Raya, so it was a big win for us all the way
That's
around.
nice.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll bring the fire chief next meeting to do Scott.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he'll come, he just couldn't make it tonight, but I'll bring him to introduce.
All right, fantastic. Yeah. well, that's-
Oh, no, I'll say one thing.
Oh, dear.
Uh-oh.
No, come up to the microphone, please.
So, look in your mailbox.
Name and address.
Last days can probably be next Friday.
Yeah.
So we're in this room, we're gonna do a community, there's a lot of people that wanna come say goodbye. So, and you want a big cake and we got some good news.
Okay. Next Friday, got it.
Get by from, it's like you're gonna do 2 to 4 in this room, say goodbye to them, so. We try 30, I think it's that 30.
January 30th, yep.
So we're gonna put it all over the place and get people in there, so. He's hating every minute of it.
Just bring a bunch of boxes of Kleenex.
Yeah.
This one's not, this one hurts a little bit, so. My man. All right, any other parting words of wisdom from the peanut gallery? Seeing none, a meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Christie,
Thank you.
did he drop off Princeton?